Well, this is Rania Boudaoud, University of Constantine 1, and the title of my presentation is Analyzing Oral Reading Fluency, Exemplifying Students' Needs for Reading Instruction. In this presentation, I'd like to address the importance of teaching the reading skill at the university level. The aim behind language teaching is to develop communicative competence, that is, improving learners' use of the four modes of communication, including speaking, listening, writing, and reading, along with enriching their vocabulary banks and their knowledge of the grammatical system. To assure a balanced language teaching, all aspects of language skills must be equally stressed and carefully dealt with, given that each has its own distinctive features. As one aspect of communicative competence, the ability to read is vital for learning. Reading is a skill that is hard to capture in one definition, and definitely impossible to master in one sitting, especially if reading in English as a third language, as is the case here in Algeria. Reading is not merely the process of recognizing graphic symbols, but rather a series of high-order sub-skills ranging from decoding to critical thinking. It is the automatic process of interpreting meaning in different contexts and for different purposes, based on readers' background knowledge and personal experiences. Most universities give and still give a great attention to the reading skill. They offer reading teaching services in the English class, in the remedial reading programs, and integrated in the different content area subjects. Reading in English as a foreign language is a challenging skill to master. That's why teachers and educational institutions should assume full responsibility for developing students' both basic and disciplinary reading skills. A useful indicator of comprehension and the whole reading ability is oral reading fluency. Oral reading fluency is the act of reading out loud written text accurately and effortlessly, and can only be achieved if readers recognize and understand the written language. Oral reading fluency can be summarized in accuracy, which is the ability to read correctly and incisively. It is generally measured by counting the number of words read correctly in a given period of time. Automaticity, which is the ability to recognize words swiftly and with little amount of operational effort, and prosody, which is a way of articulating printed materials in an expressive way by taking into consideration tone and rhythmic delivery. Oral reading fluency is mainly based on a constant hypothesis-making process. The appropriate choice of reading tone, the correct pronunciation of words, and the smooth and unconstrained movement from one word to another show great guessing and comprehension abilities. Oral reading performances reflect how the reader is monitoring the text. For that matter, poor reading monitoring skills indicate poor textual comprehension. Oral reading errors can take 5 main forms, namely substitution, addition, omission, mispronunciation, and word order sentence changes. They can also be manifested on 3 main levels, including syntax, semantics, and graphophonology. Errors at the level of syntax can indicate very low awareness of the rules underlying the language system, which will result in grammatically unacceptable reading products. The different forms of errors we have just spoken about can also distort the writer's internal meaning, and therefore the comprehension of the entire text. Also, errors at the level of graphophonology can indicate readers' unawareness of the sound-letter correspondences and/or visual recognition. Errors can be acceptable on one level and not on the other. For example, if readers substitute a word by another of the same part of speech, is grammatically acceptable, but might not be the case semantically, since the word that the reader substituted is not related in meaning to the original. Oral reading is both a diagnostic and a progress check reading tool. Oral reading testing allows teachers to determine the kind of difficulties student readers come up against while reading, to choose and return appropriate instructional remedies, and to check the effectiveness of instructional reading programs. This study took place in the Department of Letters and English Language, University of Constantine 1, Algeria, in a context where the 3 language skills are taught at the expense of the reading. There is no formal policy of how to cover the reading skill. Reading is neither integrated in content area subjects nor as a discrete subject. There is neither a pre-service nor an in-service training for teachers in language teaching in general and in reading in particular. Little, if not nothing, is known about students' reading level. and classroom observations show that students rely heavily on word-to-word translation from English to Arabic to understand curricular readings. Given that students' oral reading errors can affect comprehension and the whole reading experience, this quantitative study is based on a running record assessment. This study was based on a collection of samples of students' oral reading of 3 expository passages to determine their reading rate, error rate, and accuracy level. 95 freshman students from the Department of English took part in this study. Microsoft Word 2007 was used to obtain scores for readability, number of words and sentences, and sentence structure. We chose the 3 passages based on their level of readability as tested by the Flesch-Kincaid Reading Ease formula. The 3 texts were classified as standard, neither easy nor difficult. In trying to establish a baseline for our analysis, we used readability statistics to assess also some of the texts that our students are supposed to read across the curriculum. The mean score of these texts' readability is classified them as difficult. The analysis of students' oral reading shows that our students read 5 words correctly for every reading error made, and read an average of 82 words per minute with an accuracy rate of 78%, which is considered as unsatisfactory, given that it's way below 93%, which is considered as frustration reading level. Students' oral reading analysis revealed also that the majority of our freshman students find reading standard texts frustrating, and no one of them is ready to read them independently without teachers' assistance, which indicates that college-level texts that our students are exposed to are far too difficult for them. To conclude, after the recent reforms done by the Algerian Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research, we still feel that policymakers do not really understand the importance of integrating the reading skill. Since till this very moment, the reading skill is neither integrated as a discrete subject nor in the different content area subjects. We feel an urgency, actually, to equip students with the necessary skills to survive college reading, given that they were unable to read texts which were easier than the texts that are supposed to read across the curriculum. In a context where the 3 language skills, speaking, listening, and writing, are taught at the expense of the reading skill, these findings, among many others, exemplify students' needs for the formal reading instruction that addresses the different reading skills per se. We feel also that it is very important that students take an entrance reading test to help teachers know their students' reading level and to choose reading texts of appropriate readability levels accordingly. Thank you. Well, this is Rania